What's up, my Crusaders for Christ? Y'all know the drill. Go to YouTube, go the @ go, go, go team, like and subscribe. You guys, I'm really excited. I've got an amazing testimony here for us. I haven't quite heard it yet, but I've been in communication with Sam, aka Road Name Dozer, and he's been kind enough to willing to share his testimony. So I'm going to go ahead and let him speak. Dozer?
Okay, well, I actually grew up in church,
Hmm.
um, and fallen away. Finally met my wife of, well, it would have been 30 years last year. Um, things were going fairly well. We did Bible studies together, went to church together, everything. Then in January of 17, she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
I'm sorry.
And I'm ashamed to admit I had a few words with God. Um, she went through chemo, radiation. Everything was going great. It seemed like the cancer was gone. Then in December of 19, it had come back with a vengeance.
So she was cancer free for about a year or closer to two.
About a year.
Okay.
And it came back in her bronchial tubes, of all places.
Oh my gosh.
Um, and of course, that was right when COVID started. So nobody would do anything because of COVID and blah, blah, blah stuff. Well, in December, it was December 12th of 20, she called me and said, "Honey, I need you to come home. I need to go to the emergency room." And for her to tell me she needed to go to the emergency room, I knew it was something drastic.
Hmm.
Took her to the emergency room. She was admitted. And on December 17th, she passed away.
So you said that was the 19th that what day was it she had called you?
The 12th.
The 12th. Okay, so about 5 days.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And we usually celebrated our Christmas with the kids on Christmas Eve, so it was like a week before the Christmas bash, and it was in mid-January. I mean, I was angry. I was angry at me because I didn't do anything sooner. I was angry at her because she passed away, but most of all, I was angry with God because he never answered my prayers, or so I thought.
Hmm.
And
I'd like to say there, I think that's important because there are, Job, Moses, there were people in the Bible that got angry with God. And so I think that's very human and that's what we do, right? That's why Jesus came, was because we can't be perfect, especially in a situation like that, you know?
well, here I am, a grown man, and I'm laying in my living room floor like a 2 year old throwing a tantrum. And I looked up at the ceiling and I could see a face, what resembled a face. And what it reminded me of of a grandparent, a grandfather, looking at their 2 year old grandchild laying on the floor throwing a temper tantrum. He just sort of smiled at me and let me throw my temper tantrum. When I stopped, I just felt uh, this warmth,
Hmm.
just total warmth all over my body.
Like
Like,
he was holding you.
yeah, like he had me wrapped up in a blanket and was holding me. And That's when I knew that God was with us through the whole walk. I just didn't want to see it. I had my own selfish reasons. And, it's been,
May I ask, how was your wife through this process? Was she still faithful? Was she angry? Was she trying to coach you through it? What did that look like?
oh, she was very faithful. She would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning because she knew I didn't get up until 6. She would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning just so she could have quiet time with God.
Wow.
And she she was very faithful through the whole process. Prayed. Um, when her cancer came back, it came back in the beginning of December in 19. We had our Christmas celebration here, Christmas Eve day on the 19th. And on that day, she gave thanks to God for being there. And we do we did what we call box presents,
Mm-hmm.
where we have an empty box and we pass it around. You open the box and you pretend like what's in the box is what you really wanted for Christmas. And when she opened the box, she said, my daughters have gotten married to husbands that follow Christ. My grandchildren all serve God. She was very, very faithful woman. She taught me a lot.
I love that.
So, and now when I get angry, I can just hear her laughing at me.
Because there's nothing you can do that's going to surprise God, right? So he already knew whenever you were in diapers how all this was going to look, right?
Yeah,
So so whenever you did it, and now she knows, right? Because she's up there with the Lord and she's in heaven and she's going, "That's my man," right?
pretty much. Yeah.
How long were y'all married for?
It would have been 30 years last August.
Last August. Okay. And you said daughters, so two daughters?
I have, well, she has two daughters from a previous marriage, and I have a son and a daughter from a previous marriage.
Nice
So
blended family.
I have three daughters and one son,
That's amazing.
7 grandchildren.
That's a blessing.
The oldest grandchild, my oldest is a boy, my grandson. He is the worship director at a church in Nashville,
Wow.
and he has written, produced, and recorded a lot of his own music.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, he's the oldest. I'm proud of him.
That's
I'm
amazing.
proud of all my grandkids.
So let's fast forward a little bit. You were frustrated, you were angry, you felt the warmth of the Lord. What happened next?
Like I said, it took me a while to accept it. By a while, I mean probably 6 months.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I started to get back into reading the Bible and going to church and reading my daily devotions. And it was just, it was a long process. I had to feel, I myself, that I could trust myself enough to trust in God.
Mhm.
Not that God is not trustworthy, but I had to make sure I could do that, if that makes any sense.
It does because I've always thought like whenever you give something to God, you can't take it back, right? So
Right.
I feel like that's kind of where you were. Like once I give myself back to him, I can't take it back no more.
And, you know, my late wife and I, we started a motorcycle ministry years ago. And once I got back with God, I knew I needed to get back into it. And in November of this last year, I was getting started, getting back into it, and I found Warrior of Faith. And
Mm.
well, it just so happens that a very good friend of my late wife's is married to the president of the Warrior of Faith chapter here in Michigan.
Oh my goodness. What a God shot.
So
That's amazing.
I joined up with that chapter, and
May I ask, during that time that you were angry and you kind of had that falling away, did you have, because you said that you and your wife had went to Bible study and was involved in the church, did you have people that were still trying to come and get you back to the faith?
no, because during that time, I mean, my road name's Dozer for a reason.
Do you want to explain it?
Um, well, I'm like a bulldozer. It's just, this is what I'm going to do, get out of my way. And I had people coming over, saying, how are you doing? Are you okay? And after hearing that multiple times, I just got fed up with it. And I finally said, how do you think I'm doing?
Right. I
You
feel like
know,
that's fair.
the half of me has been torn away. It has, how do you think I'm doing? And I mean, there's a lot of people that I thought were my friends that just stopped talking to me,
Mm.
which I found out through grief support that happens a lot. They what they say is your family changes, your friends change, your hobby changes, your lifestyle changes, everything changes. And that's the truth.
I imagine. Right. Yeah. And you are involved in grief support. Is that something that you would advise if somebody's watching this video who has lost a spouse?
I would strongly advise it. And the organization that I'm involved with is nationwide, and it's called Grief Share.
Grief share? Do they have like a website or something?
Yeah, yes, it does. I don't know what it is right offhand, but yeah,
Just Google grief share and it'll.
yeah.
Okay.
And um, it's Christian based. The majority of them are actually held in churches. It just so happens the one that I go to is held in a home.
And you don't have to be a Christian to attend, correct?
You don't have to be, but like I said, it's all Christ based.
Okay.
It's all biblical. And it's not just for people that have lost spouses, it's for people that have lost children, best friends, siblings, mothers, fathers. It's grief.
Anybody going through grief? Okay, that's good.